If you love watching complete strangers compete against each other for $1 million on a remote island, well, then you're in luck because Survivor returns for its 47th season Wednesday, September 18th. And joining me now is one of this season's featured contestants, TK Foster. TK, pumped to be speaking with you about getting onto the show. How are you?
I am doing amazing, man. It's a blessing to be able to be a part of such a cool game. So I'm just super excited to see where it goes and what happens. But yeah, we're hyped right now.
Yeah. Survivor, a lot of it is about kind of like going on this island and obviously competing for the $1 million. But a lot of times in editing, we see that we learn about people's stories and kind of where they come from and why they wanted to be on the show. So I kind of wanted to start with that. So TK, tell me a little bit about you and your backstory.
Yeah, for sure. I think my backstory directly correlates to why I was on the show. It all is kind of a linear process of one thing happens, then the next thing happens. So essentially, growing up, I grew up with just my mom. Dad went to prison when I was about 2 years old, something like that, very young. So me and my mom spent a tremendous amount of time together. That's like my ride or die right there. And we just been through a lot of things. And once I got to about 15 years old, I actually was diagnosed with FSGS, which is a super rare kidney disease. And it did not look good for me the first couple years going through that. Was told by multiple doctors that probably wasn't going to make it very long. There wasn't much that they can do for me. And I'm living in the intensive care unit for almost 2 months at one point with all these, cancer patients and people going through things just as bad as I am. And it was a very down time in my life, I think, but I was able to beat it and go in full remission when I was about 18. And I think at that point, my entire mindset just shifted on how I wanted to attack life moving forward. And I think at a young age, for something that traumatic to happen, it does kind of shape the person you become later on in life. And one of the things I took from it is you never know when it's your time. You never know how much time you have on this earth. So enjoy it. Do as many things as you want to do. Challenge yourself. Be open to new experiences. And this was one of those things. I feel like everybody looks at me like I'm crazy. Like, what are you doing now? Like you don't even like if a bug flies past you in real life. What are you doing on this show? So I think it's just a mindset thing, man. I'm open to everything that's gonna just enhance some things in my life and help me grow.
Yeah, so much of what you just said in your story reminds me of Ethan Zahn's story when he returned for Winners at War, when, in between the times that he'd been on the show, he dealt with a cancer battle. And something that Jeff said that stuck out to me from that season was saying, like Ethan had already, in a way, kind of played Survivor with his real life. And it feels like you kind of experienced that as well. So how do you think that then kind of prepped you to go on the show? Like, what strengths do you think you take away from that maybe other people didn't bring in with them?
Yeah, I think it's the mentality, right? I think a lot of people, once they get out there, it's like you're stressed about so many different things, right? I mean, there's so much going on, and just even the living conditions, right? You're out in the middle of nothing. You know what I mean? You don't have a real shelter. You don't have real sleeping quarters. You know what I mean? You're in a really crazy situation, and I think if you're not mentally strong, that can definitely affect you. And I think that just the things that I've been through in life, I can always look back and say, no matter what I go through on this island, it's not as bad as what I was going through in real life. And then also, even if you're feeling down, just look out into this beautiful sunset you have in this ocean, and you just say it's not that bad. So I think it's a mentality, and I think that's the biggest thing I take from what I went through. Because at the end of the day, and this is in all facets of life for me, nothing's really too complicated, nothing's really too hard. The fact that I'm alive to even go through whatever adversity I'm going through, it's a piece of cake.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate kind of that perspective and outlook on the whole situation. So, any specific strategy you had going into actually playing Survivor?
Yeah, I think initially, and I'll say because it's twofold, right? Like before I actually got on the doorstep of playing, my whole strategy was I'm a bigger guy. I'm gonna look for the smaller people, maybe the people who think they're at the bottom, and try to just gather them all with me and just say, hey, yeah, TK is gonna take care of you. We're gonna be good. We'll have that type of thing. But I think the closer I got to the date of actually playing, I started realizing that I don't want to just play the game. I want to win the game.
Mm.
And I feel like to win the game, as far as me, I'm a pretty big guy compared to I think most contestants who are probably on the show. So in my mind, I'm already going in and saying, if I want to make it far, maybe I need to pair myself with threats more than pair myself with the goats who you kind of carry along.
Mm.
And I think that's just a better way for me to maybe shade myself from some of the immediate response when people see me on the island, like he has to go ASAP. So
Yeah.
hopefully I can kind of blend in if I'm with other wolves as opposed to being a wolf with a bunch of
Right.
sheep.
Well, and that's the beauty of Survivor, right? Is everyone is a different strategy, and none is technically correct because we've seen so many different kind of outcomes when it comes to winning the game. So, next question: any past Survivor player that you feel like you will play most similarly to, or maybe that was kind of like a draw of inspiration for you?
Yeah, I'd say I wouldn't say I want to play like anybody in particular, but what I will say is Tony's my all-time favorite player in
Yeah.
general. I was a late bloomer with Survivor. I didn't watch it my whole life coming up, so I just started watching it heavy about 4 years ago. And the first couple seasons, were like in the 30s or so. And I remember just watching some older ones. I think Tony's first season was the one I watched first, and I was just like, "This dude is insane. He's just doing whatever the hell he wants." And I know a lot of people were side eyeing him through the time he was there and all these different things. But then I just realized the moment that he's enjoying the moment, right? Like he's not letting somebody else's experience ruin his experience. He's living through whatever experiences he's been through. So he's doing all types of stuff. He's making spy shacks. He's running around like a crazy person. He's like a big kid. So that just kind of gave me the mentality like, yo, I really want to go out there and just play and have fun, not overthink it, just actually enjoy the moment of you being there. So, and I think Tony is like a perfect example of
Yeah, no, I think that's super real. And I mean, we just have to say it. His season is an essential Survivor season if you're trying to figure out where to start. So,
that. Exactly.
TK, why do you feel like you have what it takes to be sole survivor?
I think I'm strong-willed. I'm smart. I'm really competitive. Ridiculously competitive. I think I just have everything it takes to be able to win it. I think you have to be able to build bonds with people, and I think I can do that. I've done that my whole life, and that's a big part about who I am. And I have friends where you can look at me around certain people and be like, I don't know how you guys are even friends or how you and her are even friends, but a lot of times it's just being able to find the common ground you have with people. And I think just in general in life, if more people had that mindset, life would just be better for everybody. So I kind of take that into the game. I think if you can adjust and talk to somebody who's from a completely different background than you, has totally different belief system than you, if you can have a conversation with that person, that's amazing. And if you can also go lift the heaviest thing on the island and help your tribe win some stuff, I think that adds value too. So for me, yeah, I think I'm just an all-around player. I want to be an all-around player, and I think that's going to help you kind of get to the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of the most successful alliances we've seen are unlikely duos or unlikely groups. So I love hearing that as well. Now, how can people keep up with you throughout the season, maybe on social media or some kind of website you may have?
Yeah, I don't do too much. I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
That's really the only thing I'm active on. You can follow me at TK_DE_Hefe, which is JEFE. So it's TK the Hefe. That's my IG store. I mean, that's my IG name. Don't laugh at it. That my brother gave me the nickname a long time ago. So it's hilarious. But yeah, so you can follow me there. That's really the only thing that I'm active on, and I'm pretty chill. So if you're ever in the DC area,
All
we can
right,
have a good.
sounds good. Yeah, hey, no judgment here. All right, well, TK, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me. We're excited to see how this all plays out. Survivor Season 47. Tune in.